Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again, TGIF. It's the first Friday of the new year, so let's enjoy them while we can. And look, already a weekend's here. It's like, this is a great week, isn't it? Couple things I want to talk about today. First of all, you remember the lantern light off, which was it was a lot of fun, and a lot of people enjoyed lighting up the new old stock lantern. They got a kick out of that. And then my buddy Alex, who was a friend of the show, Alex was saying that he was looking at a lantern on eBay or something, and he says, unfortunately, it was electrified. And he says, kind of takes the value away. And I want to talk about that for a minute. Obviously I've been involved in a lot of hobbies, and that's my life. I love hobbies and collecting and stuff, but you know what I've always found? That the minute you put a value on anything, it ruins the hobby. And it does for me anyway. It ruins the hobby. And I'll tell you why. When I was a kid, we used to restore old cars. Remember, the old car craze back then? And, there was two groups of people. It was the guys that just loved old cars, like myself, and didn't care really what it was, just got a kick out of old cars. And then there was the pretentious snobs who, if it wasn't a Corvette, or if it wasn't a Chevelle or something, they didn't, they didn't even look at the car, and there was always two groups of people, and I always found that my group, the people that just loved old cars, we always had more fun at the car shows and stuff. We were always having a good time. And those pretentious guys, they were always roping off their cars. Don't touch my car. Don't sit, don't even look at my car. I don't know what they were even doing there, They were looking for trophies. They were trophy hunters, and I don't know. Two different kind of people. Same thing with when I was collecting stamps and, coins. The stamp guys always had more fun because there's really not much value in the stamps, where the coin guys, everything was about how much it's worth, and and grading and value, and it's and this, and they were always trying to, they were always trying to scam each other with, clean it. It was just too much. So any hobby that I've ever been into, I've always found that when you put value on it, it ruins it. So enjoy it for what it is. And let's talk about that lantern. Now, years back, I like Embury lanterns, and this is what this is. This is a number 500. And they're pretty rare around here. It's hard to get them in good shape because they were traffic lanterns a lot of times on the East Coast, with all the salt and everything. It would chew these lanterns up, because they were sheet metal. And they were made cheaply so that they could be left out and not be stolen. I saw this on eBay one time, and I said, and it was electrified. As you can see, it's got a cord and a bulb, or it did have a different bulb in it, but I changed it. And I said, something? I said, I'm gonna give it a try. I never usually bought electrified lanterns because I like the kerosene part of it, but I wanted one of these and I couldn't find one, so I bought it. And something? This turned out to be one of my. I love this thing. I put the one of those bulbs in it that has the. I don't know if you ever seen. Here's how you open it here, and the globe comes right. It's got a nice globe in it. And you can see I put one of them flame type bulbs in here. And I'll show you what that looks like. And do you know this lantern turned out to be one of my favorite lanterns? And what's so nice about it is you could leave this run all night. You don't have to worry about fuel or anything. You could put it in any room of the house. So, I got to tell you, I really like the Electra. Sometimes people say they look down upon it. You ruined the value. This thing is worth more to me now than if it would have had fuel. So let me show you what it looks like. Now, here's the bulb that I put in here, and you can see it's a vintage bulb, and it's one of those flaming bulbs that have a solid filament. And, I got to tell you something. I enjoy this, and I'll show you what it looks like in the dark later because it's hard to see now. But I have to tell you, electric, don't shun it off like it's something to toss away, because this is a lot. Next up, I mentioned dominant eye in one of my other videos. Maybe I was talking about the eye loop. Everybody has a dominant eye, which is one eye is pretty much wired a little bit better to the brain than the other one, kind of like a hardwired. And for most people, dominant eye might never be used or something, but for a lot of us it is, especially if any kind of shooting sports, you tend to always shoot better if you learn to shoot with your dominant eye. In fact, it was funny, in the Marine Corps, believe it or not, some of the best shooters were women shooters. They did so much better because, the guys, we always picked up bad habits when we were kids, with the play guns and toy guns and things like that, where a lot of times women never handle a rifle, and they would go into the Corps and they would learn the right way from the beginning instead of picking up all them bad habits. And the first thing that any kind of competitive shooter, or if you want to shoot well, or is you should always know which eye is dominant, and that's the side you shoot from. Now, most people, about 65%, are right eye dominant, but, you know, some people, like myself, are left eye dominant, and it could lead to some issues. So let me show you how you check for your eye dominance. It's very easy. Now, to check your eye dominance is very simple, and what you do is you take your hands like this, and you put them together so that you leave a little hole in the middle there. You see that little hole where my thumbs are? You know, that's all you have to do. And you put them out at arm's length apart. Now, what you'll do is you'll pick something that's maybe 30 or 40 feet away. And we're going to pick that light bulb right above my finger there. See that light bulb? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hands, make that little hole, and with both eyes open, look at the light bulb, and then bring your hands up like this until the light bulb is in the middle. Okay, when it is, you're going to bring it back, your hands like this, until it covers one eye, just like this. And that's your dominant eye. And for me, it's this. Now, not always is your dominant eye a better vision than your other eye, but it's just, it's wired to your brain cortex in a different way so that it's better at depth perception and things like that. And it really does help out. So if ever you're going to teach somebody to shoot, or you're going to learn to shoot yourself, find out which eye is dominant. And if you're left eye dominant like me, you should learn to shoot lefty. And if you're right eye dominant, you should learn to shoot righty. And if you're, it would help out years from now if you want to ever shoot competitively. It really makes a big difference. Next up, it's 2 a.m. I'm down here in the shop, and I got a box from my buddy Dan, and it's all bent up. And I said, Dan, let me see if I could try and straighten it out a little bit. Let's take a look. Here's the box in question. You can see it's an old Stanley box, and Dan reuses these. He puts a lot of his smaller. He has the biggest collection of Manson lathes going, and he puts some of them in here and things like that. But see this top here? This is all banged up. I'm going to try and straighten it out a little bit. I'm no body man, but I always want to attempt it, see what I could do, and let's give it a try. Anytime you're trying to straighten out a dent or something, it really helps a lot if you could get to the other side of the dent, which we can here by opening up the lid. And then we'll raise this up here using some smaller pieces of wood and this 2x4. Put it right under here, and then we'll try and bang out the dents from the inside here. You can see what it looks like there, and you can see those dents, and we'll just take it easy and try and bang them out that way. Okay, now the worst thing you want to do is take advice from a guy that's not a body guy to show you how to do body work. But you know what? Sometimes you can figure this. It's not rocket science. This really isn't. But it still is. It's a tremendous skill to know. And if you ever seen a really good body guy work with metal, it's amazing. So I'm not pretending to know anything, but I'm getting a little bit of it out. Now, sometimes, again, with this, it's a great starting project because unlike a fender or something that's on a car, it's hard to manipulate. But here, like if it's not closing right, you could give it a little twist, a little bend. You can use pliers sometimes to get out a dent or a bend or something like that. But the main thing is you want to have backing. Whatever you're going to be banging on, you want to have backing. I'll give you an example. There's a row of dents over here. Can you see? There's a row of dents here. So what we're going to do is we're going to position the 2x4 here. And because there's a lip under here that I can't get to, I'm going to take this block of wood, okay, and put it over here where it's where I can get to it. And then I'll place it over here on this 2x4. And that'll give me a flat surface to bang down. Now, you don't need a lot of pressure. You can use small taps. You can use different hammers. You know, you can use a ball peen. You can use the drilling hammer that I have, or you can use a soft blow hammer to try and manipulate this to get it down. We're going to try the ball peen and give slight taps to it and gently work this out. Now you can see we were able to work it out a little bit, but we'll just keep working it back and forth. But you see, that's basically how you do it when you don't have the proper tools or knowledge. But little by little, you just get to every dent you can and just try and just bang it out. Okay, here's another trick. You see this little dent? There's a dent that runs right around here that's giving this a bow, this part of the top here. Now, I'm going to use my railroad track. This is very similar to what's called a body dolly. And you put that underneath the dent here. Now, remember, the dent is running right here, just like here. I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to bang on it. And you could see that took out a lot of that dent. So again, it's not rocket science, but it does help to have the tools. Okay, we're calling this project done. Let me tell you something. There's no way I was getting all these dents out, but you know, it's presentable because now Dan's going to prime it. You know, maybe spot fill it with some Bondo or something like that, prime it, and you should see his boxes when they come out. They come out beautiful, but at least the major dents are out, and you know, the rust is off. It's ready for paint, so we'll call this one finished. But I'll tell you, I give a lot of credit to guys that do body work, you know. God bless you guys, because that's a real talent. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.